hockey fans, this is Faceoff, and I am your host, Brett Vickery, alongside Patrick Strawn and David Semenina, and we are so excited to bring you everything Liberty hockey for this 2018-2019 season. And of course, we can't forget the fourth member of our team, Caleb Fitzpatrick, who will be chatting with one of this year's captains a little bit later. But first, how about them Flames, guys? They had that 3-1 win against Penn State this past Friday. What are your initial thoughts on this win?
Well, Liberty played a good Division II team in Penn State. They have 14 seniors coming in, so they actually played a really good veteran team. And I like how they played. They stayed calm, and they were able to get the 3-1 win. So I really liked how they played.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if Penn State actually came up to D1, this is a team that probably would make their way into the top 20 of the nation. So it actually kind of showed how the Flames are going to be this season. As we look at some of the highlights, you see the Flames, they're doing all kinds of things right here, and especially getting that first power play goal coming from the way of Gamma. One of the guys who said needs to step up. Cole Bierak, he's going to be the anchor for this team on the back end when it comes to being in the net. So as you saw from that big save that he just made, and then this is one of the plays that will be talked about throughout the year. Garrett Nelson going to Boshinski. That was a huge beauty of a goal right there. And then also the final goal that put the nail in the coffin for the Flames. Gamma gets a second on the power play off of Crookshank. I think all those things activating good team-oriented style play, and I think that's going to be the thing that carries the Flames throughout the rest of the season.
And then there were a bunch of hits and penalties, too. I mean, such a testament to how the Flames' discipline is and how far they need to go to avoid the penalty box.
Yeah, it's not a Flames hockey game without a bunch of hits and a lot of penalties. The fans were into it, and you can see here that it wasn't just one or two guys hitting. It was a bunch of guys getting into it, and you can see team scrums. Nothing gets the fans excited in Lynchburg like a good old-fashioned face wash and a scrum. And you could see here, Hayes was physical all night. He stayed up to character, and he continued to be physical throughout the evening. He did get a couple penalties. I know he's going to want to clean that up, but overall, it's good to see him being physical and trying to set the tone for the season and be able to get in on the forecheck there. And you can see his line mates here also getting involved too. So it's kind of a team thing. When Hayes is going, everyone's going. So it was good to see him get that going for everyone.
Yeah, I think so. It was good to see everyone going, but I think obviously the thing that they definitely got to work on, Brett just keyed on it at the start, that they really got to clean up some of those penalties. When you have over 22 penalty minutes, that's not good, and that's not going to be huge for you. Yes, their PK was spectacular. They only allowed one power play goal, but still, when you start getting down to the bulk of the season and some of the tougher teams that they're going to play, because this is a tough schedule, that's going to come back and bite them.
Maybe Kirk told them they didn't want to work on penalty killing anymore in practice so they could just do it in the game, because I think they had 11 penalties, and at one time they had 5 in a row. So their penalty killers definitely got a lot of work. They got a lot of touches in, kind of get comfortable with each other again. So I know that they won't want to do that every night, but at the same time, it was good they could kind of get some work in on that.
Got to stay out of that box.
Absolutely.
Got to stay out of that box. Need as many guys on the ice as they can get. But so they didn't bring any rookies. They have most of their team back. So, I mean, you went up through the program. What does that mean, having that many veteran players on the ice, as far as already being used to the atmosphere at LaHaye and the pace of the game? You know, what difference does that make?
Well, I don't know of any other team in the league that has done that. Now, I haven't done too much research on it, but it might not be a big factor now, but there's some of those road trips in the middle of the year when you're going to New York twice. You know, some of the freshmen really like getting on the road, and they're kind of not used to it. So getting that little energy might affect them, and also in 4 years, senior night might be a little boring because there's going to be no one to honor.
There won't be one.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't really know what I think of it yet, but again, I like that young energy coming in.
Yeah, I think actually I'm going to stick with the positive, because I understand, yeah, you don't get the seniors, and it might look like the future might not be as bright as it has been, because we've seen a trickle effect of a lot of freshmen. We had 10 coming from this junior class, and then when the sophomore class now, they were a part of 7. So, I mean, they've been building for the future for a while now, and I think a lot of the guys on the team, even with talking to some of them, even though there are no freshmen on the team, they're excited about this year because they know they don't have to get anyone new acclimated to the system. They know everyone knows the style of play. They know what to expect for this team. And honestly, even though they lost some key core guys from that senior class that just left, it honestly is that next man up mentality, and that's what they've got to be having, because it's got to be a team-oriented style game.
Well, they're definitely going to need next man up when it's time to pick up the pucks and fill the water bottles. Who's going to do that now? There's no freshmen.
Obviously, it's going to be Ben Novak and also Brett Berthiaume, okay? Obviously. they're equipment managers for a reason.
That's equipment. That's not stuff. Rookie duties. Those are
rookie
duties.
Have you seen Ben Novak fill up a water bottle, sir?
No,
okay.
I have not.
Oh, I can tell you right now.
I think it should be the sophomores. I think it should just be year 2. rookie season.
2-year rookies.
It happens.
They're going to have to
roll with
double
the
up,
punches.
sit in the front.
I would say at least for the fall semester, you might have to say Devin Pierce has to be the rookie still because he came in mid-year.
I guess it might come down to games played now as whoever picks up the puck, or there might be more fun games after practice, see who loses those.
Okay, so it was college for a weekend. On Friday, the game, well, we're talking about the game, right? Not rookies. The arena was packed, and the energy was so intense from the crowd. It was awesome. There was a lot of people there. But what energy did the Flames bring on the ice that kept that momentum going?
I really liked their forecheck and how quick they got in on the Penn State defense. There was a lot of physicality when they would dump the puck in, and you could see their forwards really urgent and wanting to make that first hit to kind of set up their forecheck. So I really thought that energy kind of played well through the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the energy is going to be high throughout the rest of the season because obviously the Flames are going to need it to carry over throughout what's happening throughout the rest of this year because as we've been touching on, this is one of the most offensive prominent teams the past couple of years. And last year they were able to make their way back into the top 10 when it came to goals for this past season. So they kind of are going to not only need to build off of that energy, but more so, I think we're not going to see the same type of team we saw last year putting a lot of pucks in the back of the net. I think it's going to be more of a defensive-first effort and a lot more tight games, but that will bode well for them coming down the road of the rest of the season.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to have to rely on not just one or two guys. They're going to have to rely through the whole lineup. So, again, when you take too many penalties, you can't kind of roll your lines like you want. So they're going to have to kind of tighten that up, but then get the four lines rolling, get everyone buzzing.
And so we just real quick look at the schedule and any big changes, any big challenges that we need to look for this year. I mean, I know we took some teams out. So how does that influence the Flames schedule as far as challenge?
I think the biggest thing for them is obviously they're going to play the defending champs, and that's going to be a huge thing coming down the road when they play number 1 Adrian going on October 26th. That's going to be somewhat of the start of their, what you could call their gauntlet, because not only they have them, then they have Syracuse and NYU coming here, then they also, I believe, go up to play Stony Brook. But I mean, you think about it, out of the 11 opponents they're playing, 8 of those guys are ranked, including everyone in the conference. So that's going to be huge. After this coming weekend, there's really no cakewalks for this team.
Yeah, it's going to be good because they're going to be ready for nationals from every single game because they can't take many nights off looking at their schedule. And again, they play the number 1 reigning champions, who I don't think they're going to lose their number 1 ranking. They brought in some pretty good freshmen, and they also have a lot of guys that were returning that are going to be able to put up points. And again, they're going to have a veteran team that knows how to win.
It's great. I'm excited for this season. Well, after the break, we'll hear from assistant captain Zach Hayes and what he expects for his final season with the Flames. We'll be right back.
I think I always wanted to play professional hockey, and the other thing I wanted to do was be an artist.
Brandon Coburn played hockey at Liberty University while getting a degree in design. After a pro hockey career in Sweden, he would return to Canada, where for a while his 2 passions were limited to his Xbox.
Playing video games, I'll almost spend more time in the creative suite, kind of making the jerseys than I will playing the game. And I've always just been very fascinated with team branding, logos, the whole thing.
Eventually, God would give Brandon the opportunity to turn his passion into a career.
I saw the job posted for Athletic Knit, and I'm like, hey, I know these guys. I used to wear their jerseys when I was a kid. And going through school at Liberty, we wore AK jerseys, and I knew them pretty well, and I thought, wow, this would be an incredible job. Being able to see something from an initial words on a paper, where it's a mock-up request. Hey, the team wants this. This is the idea. And then you take that idea and you put it into a visual. That's a lot of times when we have to, work on our coloring. We have to work on making a crazy pattern where you might have stripes and stars and 100 million different things going on a jersey, and make that look the same on a youth small as it does on a 3XL for a goalie or a 5XL, right? Just to see what a customer picks, that initial idea, and how it eventually goes from basically a page with words on it to a completed jersey.
But there are some jerseys that for Brandon mean just a little bit more.
The breast cancer jersey that I made for the Manchester Monarchs, everybody has a family member or a friend who has had one form of cancer, whether it be breast cancer or any different form of cancer, right? So it was just like so meaningful that they had this game in the first place, and that you were able to essentially kind of brand that game in a way where people were just so impacted. They bid on the jerseys afterwards. It's cool to think of something that you created was essentially bid on and bought by somebody. There's another one for the Special Olympics, and that one really touched home for me because I have a brother-in-law who has special needs, and I know how those events for people with special needs, how much of an impact it is for them. That they can go out and compete and receive medals and just feel like a normal kid, right? And be celebrated. So when I got this jersey, I knew right away I wanted to put some medals around the neck. I have gold, silver, and bronze on there, and it touched home just because of the impact that Austin has had on my life. God's kind of brought me back to this place of being creative, using my art and my passion for hockey and bringing it together. Now I kind of get to do both in a sense. Everything that you can do in a way that glorifies God. Just the way you work, your work ethic can be inspiring. Like, there's something different about this guy. I woke up today and I'm gonna live my life the best for Christ that I can, and how am I gonna do that? And how am I gonna do that with my family, right? Essentially, everything that you do should be reflecting that, and I think working here at AK, I always try to keep that in mind. Just going to a job where I'm just going to get a paycheck, but I'm going to do something that I love, and that still kind of keeps me interacting with the game that I love. And I think that's just something that I'm eternally grateful for.
In case you missed it, the Flames got their first win this past Friday against Penn State University, and we have Caleb Fitzpatrick standing by with assistant captain Zach Hayes. Hi, Caleb.
Thanks, Brett. Zach, welcome.
Thank you.
Zach, obviously last weekend, big win to get the season started, ranked number 9, obviously going into the season, preseason ACHA rankings. Tell me, what is the feel, what is the mood? Do you guys talk a lot about the national championship hopes, or is that kind of like mum's the word and we're going to pretend that that's not in the conversation?
No, yeah, it's definitely in the conversation a lot. Last year going into nationals, we wanted to be top 12. Found ourselves a pretty tough draw once we got there. I think a big goal for us we talk about a lot is being top 5 this year. I think that really sets us up, and just the competition that's going to be there and just giving us that extra day of rest. But definitely, the national talk is kind of, the end goal, but it's more of we just want to get to nationals, and then from there it's kind of anyone's game and just take each day at a time, But yeah, definitely talking about nationals every day, it's for us. It's kind of always on our minds.
Yeah, it's good to cast a vision early. Talking about early, tell me about your Liberty experience. You obviously joined the team mid-season. What was that like? How did you, get acclimated to playing hockey at Liberty University?
Yeah, so I reached out to Kirk in about November of the prior year, and he said, "Come on out, skate with us. We'll see what happens." And came out in January. I was actually here January 1st of 2016, and it was a great experience. I was thrown right into the mix, just right into practice, right on the guys. And actually, the first road trip we had was Stony Brook. And as we know, Stony Brook they've been a good team as long as I've been here. And just jumping in right into the experience of Liberty and just the level of play was just, it was good. It got my feet right under me right away. And going to Ohio the next weekend, it was just back-to-back weekends of just top-level play and just getting acclimated real quick.
Yeah. Stony Brook is a tough way to just jump right in there. Yeah. Obviously, it's been 2.5 years now. Now you're in a little bit of a leadership role. Tell me what it means to be kind of set up as the example to follow for the younger guys.
Yeah, coming in freshman year, I came in as 22 years old, kind of unorthodox, as some would say. But, I came in feeling myself more of a leader just from the maturity I had, just from the experience I've had throughout my years of playing, youth hockey, junior hockey, and coming in just a little older. I just felt that I was always there for maybe that the vocal aspect, and now I really found myself just trying to lead by example, leading by, just obviously with the words I like to contribute to the team and stuff, but, just being named assistant captain was, it's an honor and stuff, but I've always seen myself as just leading this team in the right way. I believe that Liberty Hockey has taken the culture. Yeah. Whether there's a letter on my jersey or not, that's just kind of the role I found myself and just kind of ran with it.
Tell me about playing with the Clark brothers. Do you feel like you missed out on the childhood and they're way ahead of you guys, or
Yeah, playing with them is fantastic. They're some of the hardest workers I've played with. And actually, when they first came to the team, we had a meeting and stuff with all the players, and they actually were finishing each other's sentences. And so now playing with them is just trying to pick up on that and just trying to, hop in when I can. It never works out, but it's always worth a shot.
Yeah,
I guess.
I'm sure it's a lot easier said than done. Real quick, tell me who is the worst dresser on the team?
Oh, geez. Worst dresser, I would have to say, is Chaden Lauber.
Chaden Lauber.
He has a weird mix of trying to go with like a Don Cherry type suit, but he also throws in his Alberta like farm roots, so he's kind of rocking like a cowboy hat, country boots. Sorry, Lobs, love you, man, but we got to figure that out.
I've seen him come into the rink in the Ron Burgundy suit with the cowboy hat. It's a great combination.
Yes.
Great combination. Well, thanks so much, Zach, for coming in, and good luck the rest of the season.
Absolutely, thank you.
Absolutely. Back to Brett and the boys.
Thanks, Caleb and Zach. He got some really big accolades from Coach Handy after the game. He was playing hard.
I really liked his leadership and his line with Cox and Blomberg. They were really in on the forecheck hard. They were hitting guys. They were fast, and they actually drew a lot of penalties. And I think they actually took the momentum away from Penn State a few times and got it back in Liberty's favor.
Yeah, absolutely. I did like the energy that they brought when they were out there, and that's kind of their role, not only their line, but also that line of the Clarks and Carlson. I think there'll be a big energy boost for when you get some of your more skilled guys, and the guys that will probably be the key cogs of leading this team in points in your top two lines.
Well, coming up, our very own Rhett McGiven catches up with head coach Kirk Handy, and you'll want to stay tuned for more to hear later about a very special game coming up that you definitely don't want to miss. We'll be right back.
Hey there, you late night hockey lovers. Welcome to the LaHaye Ice Center.
It's like a little bit smaller town, and at night, especially around campus at Liberty with curfew and everything, anytime around midnight, like you drive around and it's just like a dead zone. But when there's a hockey game at midnight, it's just, you come around the rink and it's just alive.
Students are wound up at warm-up at 11:30 at night. I mean, it's packed out at 11:30. It is at prime time. It is a great opportunity to play in front of a lot of people. It is a great environment to be a part of, and that's all part of being here as a student at Liberty, is to be involved with these environments and to really thrive in them.
Control first 20. First 10 minutes is critical, right? We talk about dumping the puck, getting the pucks in deep, laying the body. Puck's on net, all right, boys? Lots of back pressure on the forwards makes D's job easy, right? Let's go get him, boys.
Roberts, Thompson, Zach Hayes starting off for the Flames. Faceoff's going to be won back by the Hawks. McCambridge playing it ahead. Here's Duguid. He'll let a snapper go and he scores! Duguid from way out top.
All right, if your sticks on the ice, hey, let's just make sure we move the puck harder with confidence, all right? Harder with confidence, straight into the place, rip the puck, and let's get the traffic on this goalie, all right?
Hey, boys, two guys hard, right? One guy high, all right, let's go.
Ryan, pass across, Shirt scores! Guy's flying around right now like Santa's sleigh. Like last weekend, he had a goal in the Rutgers game. When he gets his legs going and he dominates the offensive side of things, but then also gets back and plays that two-way style, he can be the most dominant defenseman in the ACHA.
Hey, that's garbage! That's garbage!
Let's get some more pucks on net here, right? Some more traffic, more pucks on net.
Coming across the line, Quinn Ryan, he's got some slippery net, and shot scores! puck, a quick shot, scores! That one, my friend, should be the final nail in the coffin. Thanks for staying up late with us, everybody. Have a good morning, and God bless from Lynchburg, Virginia.
Now, if you follow Liberty hockey at all, then you know that Kirk Handy has been the face of the program for almost 20 years now. And Rhett McGibbon is standing by to get his expectations for his 19th season.
Thanks, guys. Joined now by head coach Kirk Handy, the men's Division I hockey team. Kirk, thanks for dropping in.
Oh, thanks for having me.
First off, congratulations. Last season, you hit the 400 win mark. You've been here for 18 years now as head coach. What's that whole process been like? You've seen a lot of hockey in your day.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. We were in Roanoke,
Right.
And then building the first rink and then be involved with the construction on the second rink. It's been a blessing. You know, I think about all the hundreds of players we've had come through our program over the years, and reminded of a quote from Billy Graham that says a coach will have more impact on people's lives than other people, and it's true. You know, that's the exciting part for us, is seeing the guys who come through our program and now we're out in different vocations around.
Let's dive into this season. In years past, last 2 years, it's always, you got a young team and, you know, a lot of youth coming in the lineup. This year, you kind of finally have that veteran group. How much easier has been training camp for you in the sense that you're not really teaching the game plan, it's more you're building off of it?
Well, the expectation level is a lot higher, and you know, there's not as much newness around our team where it takes guys a little while to get acclimated. You know, we expect to be, we're hitting our stride right after tryouts finished and get right into practice. You know, we've liked the tempo of practice and the compete level, and yeah, we're real excited with this group of guys.
Couple of veterans that you had last season to move on to play pro, Garvin and Sharts, and that's 133 points out of your lineup. Who are a couple guys, or I know it's probably the whole team, but who are some guys that you're looking upon to provide some offense?
It was funny. I was having a conversation with a couple of our guys the other day, saying, you know what, it's a committee approach for us. You know, it's going to be guys who scored 15 goals last year getting 20 this year, guys who scored 5 goals last year getting 8. You know, and we really believe in the guys we have there. You know, I think there's a lot of key veterans there who will have great seasons for us this year.
Is it kind of looking at guys like Gammer and Ryan and Bohinski that need to, like you said, kind of step up and take another level? They've kind of had their first season of hockey, that being Gammer and Bohinski, and now they need to take it another step? Yeah,
and I would even throw Pierce in there too, you know, a transfer who came in partway through the year. You know, I think we're going to see some really great things out of Garrett Nelson on the back end, Jacob Fricks, you know, from an offensive standpoint. But you know, we really like our group of guys. You know, our defense is solid, you know, with Crooks and Bergs and Lauber and Reynolds and Crane. So, you know, I really like our group of guys.
We go to last season at Nationals and a tough overtime loss to the defending national champion. But big picture, really, how big of a game was that for you in development?
Well, it's huge. You know, I think to the year 2-3 years ago, we weren't at Nationals, and last year we're at year before we're at Nationals. This year, going through the game, sticking with it for 60 minutes, scoring in the 59th minute, you know, right just inside that 1 minute mark, and then taking it to overtime. And really, I like the way we were playing. You know, we had our chances to win the game too. But I think from a development standpoint and from taking the next level, we've been able to do it last couple of years, and it was real important for us to be able to play at that level consistently. Is going to be you know, part of who we are this year and who we want to be. Strength of schedule is a lot better this year, so we're going to get a lot more opportunities in that this year.
Yeah, you're talking about schedule. Adrian, you're playing them 4 times. Ohio, Alabama, an up and rising team in the ACHA. You talk about consistency. It seems like you guys aren't going to have the ability to take a night off, and the ESCHL is tough as well.
Yeah, that's the exciting part for all of us, you know, and you want to play consistent, not only back-to-back nights on a weekend, but every weekend you want to play, you know, the top teams in the country. And I really believe that we've got a really great schedule this year. You're saying with our conference play, you know, with Syracuse and Rhode Island and the teams that we weren't able to play 4 times last year, playing them 4 times this year, I think will really strengthen our schedule as well.
So tougher schedule, veteran group. Do you have any goals this year? Is it deep into the national tournament? What exactly are you guys hoping to achieve?
Yeah, you know, our goal is is to win the conference championship, to win the regular season title, to win the conference championship, and then to be a top 5 team going into nationals. And we really believe we can get in that top 5. We'll really position ourselves well for a great run at nationals.
Your first weekend of Division I plays coming up against IUP. You got Midnight Mayhem as well. What do you expect in that first weekend?
Well, I expect a lot of excitement around the rink, but I expect a veteran team who's going to know what to do because they've been there before and done it. And I think when you have a group of guys like we have who have had the consistency there, I think that we're in for something real special this year.
Kirk, thanks for stopping by.
Yes, thanks for having me.
All right, guys, back over to you.
Thanks, Rhett, for sitting down with him. Now, Cole Gamer had 2 out of the 3 goals for Liberty. So what other playmakers can you tell me about that you think we should expect big things from this season?
Well, last year, between 2 guys, they had 48 goals. Of the 205 total goals the Flames scored. So they lost Grant Garvin, they lost Zane Sharts, which are 2 big point getters. So we mentioned earlier about they're going to have to score through the lineup. So I think every line's going to have a couple guys that are going to step up. I think Bochinski's going to have a big year. His freshman year was over. Now he's a sophomore. Well, second-year freshman, as we alluded to earlier. But he's going to have a big year and lead his line. And then I also think Zach Hayes has the ability to put the puck in the net. He's been able to be physical and a leader, and I think this year he's going to need to step up and put the puck in the net a little more.
And then Penn State took 18 shots. Cole Burke saved 17 of them. How deep, Pat, would you say we are as far as goaltending? How strong is that aspect of the Flames' defense?
I think it's very solid. I think you got to look at you got Biorak, who potentially proved that he's your number 1 as he was all-conference last year and the tournament MVP when the Flames won their second playoff championship. So he's going to be huge. But also don't forget about Halpany. You almost got yourself a 1A and 1B combination with the 2 of them. They're both two talented goaltenders. And I think they can, as I said earlier, could anchor this really solid veteran Flames core because I think in front of them, as Kirk just alluded to, their defensive group in front of them is actually pretty solid. A couple of those guys will contribute points-wise, but a couple of those guys are more stay-at-home D. If they can just anchor that defense for them, this team will be very solid, especially in those tough games.
Now, we got the W, right, but there's always room for improvement. After watching that game on Friday, what would you guys say the Flames have to improve on moving forward this season?
I think they're going to have to take less penalties, which is pretty obvious, but I think they're also going to have to keep working on their offensive prowess and keeping the puck in the offensive zone. Again, go back to the line of Cox, Hayes, and Blomberg. I really like their forecheck, and they had a lot of offensive zone time, and I think that really wore down the Nittany Lions.
I think the biggest thing for them, as Dave kind of already alluded, is got to be the penalty things. I think it's hard not to talk about the penalties because, unfortunately for the Flames, it's kind of been our bread and butter over the last couple of years. We've been one of the leading teams in the box, but unfortunately, we've also been one of the teams with the strongest PK, so putting people on notice right now that the PK is very effective, and I think if they can continue to just roll guys throughout on the penalty kill, it's going to be kind of pay dividends for them down the road.
Practice makes perfect on the PK, right?
Oh, yeah, you a PK specialist yourself.
Guys, we have Midnight Mayhem coming up.
What time is that at?
It's technically at 11:59. Technically, but all the freshmen, sophomores, they're pumped to get off campus after curfew, everything like that. They have deep fried cookie dough and Oreos and all of that kind of stuff. Definitely, everyone needs to come out to that. Real quick, what should we expect from the Crimson Hawks? We beat them pretty bad last year.
I'm expecting the same thing. Again, there's a lot of energy in the building, and I think the Flames are going to feed off that and have a great game and great effort.
3 things we're going to expect from this game. 1, fried cookie dough, as Brett alluded to. 2, pumpkin spice lattes to keep all the fans and girls warm in the stands. And then 3, a lot of goals. All right, we beat this team, what was it, 7-2, 9-2. It's going to be pretty much a quick game.
Well, be there for Midnight Mayhem. That's all we have for you here on Faceoff. Be sure to follow Liberty Hockey on social media so you can stay up to date on the Flames. And come out to Lehigh Center for Midnight Mayhem. Seriously, you don't want to miss it. Thanks so much for joining us. From Pat, Dave, Caleb, and myself and our entire crew, have a great night. Go Flames.